Now let's not waste any time. I'd like to welcome the strong, the empowering, and the fun Javicia Leslie, along with her real-life mom, Army veteran Jacqueline Chandler. Javicia, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I hope that you get to trick out the Batmobile.
I hope so too.
Jacqueline, so great to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. Now, for those of us joining us from around the world, we want to remind you that you can use your Q&A box to submit questions. We're going to do our best to get to as many of them as possible, but let's just hop right in. First question for both of you. What does the USO mean to you?
Well, I'll go first. You want to go first, or you want me to go first, Mom?
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's what the USO means to me. It's my mom, it's my family, my godparents, my aunts, my uncles. It's literally how I was raised. I'm surrounded by members of the service. So that's what it means to me.
For me, the USA experience was what I remember was, as a young soldier, I stayed at the USO, when my family PCS from one location to another. And it provided, a good family place. And I remember the times that I laid on those cots in there, because they have plenty of cots, and I laid there and they would tell me, ask me when was the time for my flight. I would tell them as I signed in, and they would wake me up and the snacks. And I was a young soldier then, so I couldn't afford to donate, but I did donate. But as I grew and I got older, I was able to give a better donation. But a lot of soldiers don't know just what the USO in those airports do, but it's a great experience. And I think that if you're ever there and you transitioning, that's a great place to go to rest.
Agreed. All right, we have our first question already submitted from Nikki Lindhorst at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. So this is a question two-part for both of you, it seems. How did growing up in a military family shape who you are? And what advice would you give to young girls growing up in today's world? Javicia, why don't you go first?
Okay.
I think my mom is getting ready to go. Go ahead, Mom.
Okay. Myself, I was predominantly a single parent, and I raised Javicia and her brother on my own. And I think that through my strengths that I had shared with them, and resiliency and my accomplishments, and the foundation was my military career. My military career, I feel that gave me the foundation that I have, that I instilled into my children. And it was a lot for them, because we went from Germany. I did 2 tours in Germany, and went from Germany to Colorado to California. So when you're a military mom and you have children, you move about a lot. So it's a lot for children. And I know, and when Javicia came, that's when I was changing my career, and I decided that I'm moving every 3 years is a bit much. So Javicia got the best of it. Her brother, on the other hand, he got a lot of moving around for me with the military. But I love the military, and I would say anybody, any young person, go in for the first 2 or 3 years at least, and you can have that discipline.
For me, like I said earlier, my mom was in the Army, when I was growing up, but all of her friends were as well. So it was just really a family unit that we had when we were constantly surrounded by military soldiers. It was just, I don't know, it's kind of all I know, because literally everyone that I was raised around is military. So it's all I know. It's like I don't know another version of growing up except for that. So I don't have a comparison to give. All I can say is, like, that's what I was surrounded by, to the point that I did JROTC when I was in high school, and I was going to join ROTC when I went to Hampton, but the war had just started and my mom asked me not to.
So you wake up every morning still, strict regimen, hospital quarters on your bed?
So she taught me how to make my bed up like that before I went into JROTC. So when I did go into it, I knew how to make my bed up, and I knew about how quick we had to shower and things like that. And then I'm an overachiever, so I was like in charge of my group and the one that was saying all of the different cadences and stuff.
Okay. Here's another question from Christian Borez in Camp Humphreys, South Korea. What did you have to do to prepare yourself to be Batwoman?
So I auditioned for Batwoman during the pandemic. And it just so happened that a lot of my normal day-to-day fitness routine works for the role. Because I enjoy doing Muay Thai, I enjoy doing bow staff, I enjoy doing all kinds of things. And I did that before the role because it was like really just a passion of mine. So when I auditioned for the role and I sent them a tape of all of the things that I love to do, it was kind of like, it just went really well for the character, to the point that even in stunts, we develop a lot of Ryan and Batwoman's fight choreography based off of what I've learned even before I started with the show. So that was a part of it. And then as far as, the artistry side of it, just making sure that I took my time to sit in the world of Ryan, sit in the world of growing up in foster care. My mom's aunt, my Amy, was a foster parent. So I had been raised in that world of seeing of seeing how important it was to have that one foster parent that cared about you, that you stuck with, to the point that like there are so many kids that consider my Amy their mom. And so that's something that I was able to kind of like sit in and use when it came to the development of Ryan, especially her connection and her relationship with the woman that she does call her mom, who's obviously not her biological mom, but her foster mom that loves her, as though it was her own daughter. So really just sitting in the world of those. And as I get the scripts, I just continue to add the ingredients from the scripts to the worlds that I've created.
All right. Well, you clearly did a great job. All right, here's the next
Thank
question.
you.
Audrey Smith from Fort Meade, Maryland. What was your initial reaction when you were notified that you were selected to play the part?
I was in the middle of meditating because I was stressed. We hadn't found out anything. My mom had, what I didn't know that I found out afterwards? My mom wasn't calling me, blowing my phone up like she normally does. So I was like, okay, she's letting me breathe because I don't know yet, and she knows I'm stressed.
Okay.
But what she was doing is she's calling my manager, Tony, and blowing up Tony's phone. and would say to Tony, like, I don't want to bother her, but we haven't heard anything. Do you know anything? And at the end of the day, this is just kind of how this industry works. You don't know. And it could be something very small that ends up either getting you the job or not getting you the job that may not have anything to do with you or your talent whatsoever. It could be, we need her to look like she needs to play someone's daughter or whatever, So I just had to kind of let it go. So when I did get the phone call, I was super shocked. I was just like, you're lying. Why are you saying this to me? And then I called my mom. And the first thing she said is, well, hurry up and put some makeup on before people start calling you. You're looking crazy.
Now, here's the real question. Jacqueline, did you know from Tony before they called, or did you find out in real time afterwards?
No, I didn't hear from Tony. I heard from Javicia. And when
I called her.
Yeah, when she called me, she was kind of like sad. She was like, Mom. And as soon as she said, the way she said, Mom, I'm like, oh my God, you didn't get the part, right? Because she's just like, Mom, and I was thinking, shoot, she didn't get the part. Then she said, I got the part. I was like, oh my God. I was just so overjoyed. I was thanking God for giving her the opportunity. It was just unbelievable that it was even happening. I even felt at one time I felt scared because it's just so different from any other role that she's ever had, because she's never had like the star role. So I was like, and it's a superhero role. And when I think of superheroes, since I was a little girl, I remember Batman and Robin, when I was a little girl. And now to get to see my daughter take on the role as Batwoman, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
And every day I have to like is this really real?
It's real. All right, let's bring in another real hero, Josh Perry. If you could turn your camera on. He's a New York Army National Guardsman in Binghamton, New York. Josh.
Hello. First, I'd like to say thank you for your service, Jacqueline. That's amazing that you were in and did your time with us.
Thank you.
Javicia, question direct for you. What was it like the first time you saw yourself in the cowl?
I actually have a video. It was weird because when you put the cowl on without the wig, it looks like the Batman mask, or Batman cowl. But that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like Batwoman. You actually look like Batman. So to see myself in that was like super surreal. You know, like my mom said, I grew up watching Batman, and to know that, like, to see my skin color come out of that out of that cowl, it's just like, it's super. It's just, it feels unreal. You know, it's been a long time. We haven't had this yet, and I think it's really cool.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The next question from Brandy Galloway in Presidio of Monterey, California. As an actress, how does this role satisfy your career goals?
I wanted to do action. That was a huge part of my journey. And so to be able to start this early for me to just jump into the world of action and get to show off all the things I love to do, it's completely in alignment with my career goals.
Okay. The next one from Samantha Culver, Joint Base, Fort Sam. Well, these questions are coming in fast. Samantha Culver, Joint Base, Fort Sam, Houston, Texas. What has been your favorite stunt you've done? And what is something you want to see your character do by the end of the season?
My favorite stunt is the one that you see that I did actually in that episode where I shoot up because they put the camera above my head. And so it was just really cool. And I had to go really, really high and really fast. And then I have one more stunt that I can't tell you too much about because it will reveal too much. But there's another stunt where I'm pretty much like flying. So those are my favorite stunts. Anything that allows me to like fly. My mom is always like, don't do your stunts. Let your stunt double do your stunts. And I'm always like, nope, I'm gonna do them. And then what was the second question? I'm sorry.
Let me go back down to it. Hold on one second. What
think
is
it's what
something you want to see your character do by the end of the season? Javicia, back with it's what is something you want to see your character do by the end of the season?
By the end of the season, stunt wise, you can just go as far as possible. I'm practicing everything every single day. So, you know, I would love to see me do more of my own stunts. Like, I want my stunt double just to chill and let me do it. And then as far as like just character development, just her confidence in being a superhero. You know, Ryan's journey on becoming a superhero is my journey on becoming a superhero. So as much as I want Ryan to feel confident and powerful, as much as I want to feel confident and powerful in the role.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got a few more live look-ins to go to. This is from Joint Base Elmendorf in Richardson, Alaska. Pretty cold up there right now. Trent Moss. Trent, great to have you here. Why don't you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I have a question for Javicia. What do you think you have most in common with your character, Ryan Wilder?
We both love plants. If you've seen the first episode, you see she gets very angry when her plant gets broken. I think that we are both like protectors of the people we care about. I'm very protective of my people, of my tribe. And like I said, we're both on this journey together on figuring out what our Batwoman is.
Okay. Trent, thank you so much for the question. Let's go to the next guest, Ryan Williams. Ryan, are you there with us?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Thank you very much for taking me, allowing me to do this. Thank you for your service, Jacqueline, very much. That's awesome. Yes, Javicia. Oh, how amazing is it to play a superhero, the title role? That is really amazing. I'm really excited to be here. So my question for you is, what are you looking forward to most playing this role? And I'm super excited that I share the first name with the character. It's really amazing.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to Comic-Con because I'm looking forward to being able to meet the people that love this franchise and connect with them. I didn't get to do it this year because of everything going on with the pandemic, but I kind of feel like I'm glad that we're almost waiting because I wasn't yet, nothing had aired. I was already doing the role, but you guys hadn't seen it yet. So I don't feel like I earned it, And so next year, hopefully, or this year, God willing, we're able to have Comic-Con. That's like something I'm super excited about. I think any person playing a superhero role wants to do Comic-Con because it just gives you the chance to connect with everyone and the fans and the people that make the show what it is.
All right.
Yes, well, you definitely earned it. Thank you very much. And I look forward to meeting you. I love Comic-Con. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Bye-bye.
Next question. Sean Aber, if you could turn on your camera, please. Here we go.
Hey, how are y'all? So
Good. How are you?
My question is, are you a big DC comic book fan?
So yes, I am a DC comic book fan. My brother used to collect comics, so I used to like dabble in his comics, but I will be honest and tell you I'm more of a DC movie and television fan. So like I said earlier, like growing up watching Batman, but then even on the TV, watching The Flash and watching all of like these other, Arrowverse shows come to life, like that's so much fun to me. So I'm more into the movies and television than I am into the actual comic books.
Awesome.
But now Ryan's in Batgirl, so I have my issue of Batgirl that Ryan has been introduced in.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for this opportunity. Y'all have a great night.
You too.
Appreciate it. All right, some more questions from the Q&A. Danielella Willis from Fort Meade, Maryland. What do you feel when you auditioned for the part? What did you feel when you auditioned for the part?
I was, you know what? Because of the pandemic, we basically had to self-tape. And so I was gonna say I was nervous, but my first audition was a self-tape. So I was comfortable. I was in my own home. My friend was my reader. So I could really feel like I had the energy and the strength to play. And then my second audition was on Zoom. So that was live. And at first I was nervous and I was like, you know what? We don't have time to be nervous. Look, this is your one opportunity. You have to show up and show out. And so I had fun again, and they gave me a note, and I took that note and I gave my performance again. And it was fun. Like I actually was more nervous outside of the audition than I was in the audition. I was more nervous waiting than I was actually auditioning.
So the butterflies are there, you start the auditioning, camera rolls, and it's just back to normal for you.
We ain't got time to be nervous. Look, we have to show up or show, we don't have time. We can't miss this opportunity.
All right, we've got another live question for you from S. Miller. If you could turn on your camera, please. S. Miller is in Great Lakes Naval Base in Illinois. Hello.
Hi, Javicia. It's such a pleasure to speak with you this evening. And Ms. Chandler, thank you so much for your service. Again, shout out that you're an alumna of Hampton University with good company of Wanda Sykes and Ruth E. Carter. My question is, can you please share how you reached your acting dream and what is the difference that you've experienced from working on God Friended Me to being Batwoman? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So yes, shout out to Hampton University. I love Hampton. And then I would say the difference between, reaching my goal or reaching where I'm at this moment in my career, to me, I feel like when I look back at the journey, one, it was a tribal thing. Like it wasn't just me. It was like my mom sacrificing to make sure that I can be in Los Angeles. Like if I needed help, she was there to help me. My manager, my agents, everyone like rooting for me and fighting for me. Because it doesn't just end with my audition. Then there has to be another team that come in and say, I don't know if you looked at her audition yet, but she's great. Or, oh, here's some more footage, or here's this. Like they just continue to fight for me. So it's a very team thing. It's a very tribal thing when we get these wins. That's why it doesn't really feel like my win. It feels like our win. And then with that also came with like making sure that I was constantly in classes. Like I'm obsessed with classes. When I wrapped God Friended Me in March, I jumped right back into acting school. Then when I booked Batwoman, I stayed in acting classes all the way until we started shooting. So just constantly nurturing my craft. And then as far as your second question was, what was your second question?
What's the difference you've noticed from God Friended Me to Batwoman?
Oh.
Well, God Friended Me, Allie was very important, but Miles was what ran the show. He was our lead. And Brandon Michael Hall did such an amazing job on that show and did such an amazing job as a lead in our cast. Honestly, like, to walk into a new show where I'm the lead, I took a lot of the things that I saw Brandon do and how he treated everyone and the crew and how respectful he was. I took a lot of that in my new journey with Batwoman. So that's like the huge difference. The difference is, I work every single day. I work 16 hours a day. Over there, I would work maybe 2 days out the week, but I was also shooting the family business in LA. So I jump on a plane and go into LA to film that, and then jump back and go to New York to do God Friended Me. So it's a lot different.
Thank you so much for the question. Appreciate it. All right, we have a few more questions for you. I'm going to combine two, one from Mayra Cruz Sierra and one from Kendra Connor, who's at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. What inspired you to play the role, and what prompted you to audition for the role?
It's Batwoman, of course. That's what prompted me to audition for it. And what inspired me, I've always wanted to be a superhero. When I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of Black female superheroes. Like, I think I only live action saw Storm and Catwoman, who's not really a superhero. She's actually a supervillain. And Halle Berry played both of them. So that was like my version of what I had saw before Black Panther came out. I didn't really see a lot of Black female superheroes. And so I did an interview in May. I booked this in July. I did an interview in May, and I was asked what my next role that I wanted to manifest. And I said, I want to be a superhero. And I had those characters in mind because that's all I saw. I never would have imagined that a Black woman could play Batwoman. And so that my mind didn't even look in that world, And it's so cool because now this is like another superhero that someone can use as an example of what they would want to be if they were to be a superhero.
It's absolutely amazing. You're empowering. You're a role model. Keep pushing. It's great. All right, this is a global event. We can't get to all the questions tonight, but I want to let you know that we have service members and their family joining us from Alaska, Japan, North Carolina, Massachusetts, Virginia, South Korea, Texas, New York, the UK, Kentucky, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, California, Washington, Maryland, and a few other places too. It's amazing. I mean, people want to see. Hello, everybody. All right. Javicia, would you like to offer a final message of support to our service members and their families around the world?
Of course, you guys are here. Y'all are heroes. Y'all are the superheroes. I always say, they say, who is the superhero in my life? And I think of my mom immediately because she just sacrificed so much and constantly still does. Like, she's our superhero. And so you guys, you soldiers, even your families, your wives that are taking care of the kids, like, you guys are the real superheroes. So it's an honor to be able to come here and like connect with you guys and do this. Like, this is fun for me, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
All right. Well, Javicia, Jacqueline, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure on both sides of the camera, as we hope. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us for another USO Military Virtual Programming event. Remember to visit www.uso.org/MVP to register for all of our upcoming events. With that, take care and have a great night.